welcome to my channel, Famous Graves with Diamond Dave. I'd appreciate it, as always, if you watch this video to the end, because it helps me with YouTube. YouTube would be more willing to recommend it to others. I was here about a month ago. I did a video on the Hillside Strangler victims. So our first stop today is Yolanda Washington, who was the first victim of the Hillside Stranglers. She was a known prostitute around the Glendale area, Glendale, California. She caught the attention of the two bad guys, the cousins. She's found October the 21st, 1977. I remember this case well. I just got out of high school back in May of '77, and I remember this being in the news. She's found raped, strangled, and tortured here in Glendale, California. So, sad story. This cemetery is about 1,200 acres. It's the largest I've been in. So I'm looking forward to exploring the cemetery and finding other famous graves. So come along with me. Now we're at the grave of Dorothy Abbott. She's from Kansas City, Missouri. Moves to Las Vegas. She's a real beauty. She becomes a showgirl, Las Vegas showgirl. Gets discovered by Hollywood, if you can imagine, having the looks. So anyway, she goes out to Hollywood and it appears in the movie The Razor's Edge.
Mr. Hanson?
Yes?
You sent for me?
Oh, yes, I did, Miss Sloan. I wanted to have a little talk with you. Very confidential. You see, for some time now, I've been thinking about you.
Why, what would you be thinking about me?
You'd be surprised.
Oh.
Why, Miss Sloan, you're not afraid of me, are you? I guess I do have a kind of a reputation that frightens most girls in this town, but tell me, Miss Sloan, do you think I'm a big bad wolf?
She dies 1968. She's resting right next to her mother, Helen Abbott. Do you guys remember the bailiff on People's Court, Rusty Burrell with Judge Wapner? Well, the GPS says this is his grave location for he and his wife, but the headstone's not here. I dug down a ways, couldn't find anything. I know he had one at one time, or they did, but Rusty was a real bailiff, the real thing. He worked in the Los Angeles courts. He worked the trials of Charles Manson. He was a bailiff with that trial. Patty Hearst, you might remember her in the early 70s. And the Onion Field murders in 1963. He was a bailiff for that trial as well. I got another commercial, I guess. I got a video, pretty nice video that's doing well about the Onion Field murders. I went to the location where the officers were abducted in 1963. And then I take you out to the Onion Field where they were murdered in cold blood, or one of them were anyway. But check it out if you're interested in some true crime stuff. Hey, you guys ever catch the podcast? It's called Wishing Cotton Was a Monkey with the spa guy and Trey Miller. Well, we're coming up on a grave location of Cotton. This fella played in Little Rascals back in the late 20s, early 30s. We're at the grave location of Bobby Beard. Cotton, here he is. He's a brother of Stymie, also of Our Gang, Little Rascals. He's buried right here in Rose Hill Cemetery, Whittier, California. Wishing Cotton was a monkey. This is Cotton. How about that? I found him. Really cool. Nice find. I like finding child actors back in the day. We're just at Cotton's. Now we're at Froggies of Our Gang. You might remember the blonde-headed kid, croaky voice, and thick glasses. His mother enrolls him in acting classes to give him confidence. He ends up landing the role of Froggy in Our Gang. He ends up becoming the most popular Our Gang actor. Goes on to star in 3 other movies. Sadly, he dies at age 17. He's hit by a car while he was riding his bike by his house. Hey, check all these boxes, just waiting for customers. That's gotta be about 3 acres of inventory. How about that? We're still here in Whittier, California. Let's continue with our tour of this cemetery. Sometimes after cemeteries have mowed, graves are hard to find. So I think this is Ken Carson. I recognize the cowboy hat and part of the last name. So we'll clean up a little bit. Yes. Yeah, Ken Carson. Ken Carson was a member of the singing group The Sons of the Pioneers, as was Roy Rogers. He's in the Country Music Hall of Fame. I think he went in 1980. He went in as the group of the Sons of the Pioneers, but also as a solo artist, as did Roy Rogers. Ken performs at the White House for Tricia Nixon's wedding. He also voices the Wise Old Owl animated film for the Disney Channel. He dies in 1994 of Lou Gehrig's disease. Now we have about a 1-mile drive to get over to, I think, where Ron Glass is buried. You might remember Ron Glass from the 1970s television show. What was it, Barney Miller or something like that? There's also lots of walkers here at this cemetery. Okay, we got him. Detective Ron Harris, played by Ron Glass, and Barney Miller. I think Barney Miller ran from 1975 through 1982. The sharp dressing detective, Ron Harris. I believe this is his wife, Geraldine Glass. Fussy girl. We're inside El Porto de la Paz Mausoleum. Our next stop is an actress, originally from Kansas. She's in an unmarked niche right up there. She's interred with her brother. She wanted to become an actress, wants to make it in showbiz. Her name's Katherine Ames. She takes her mother's maiden name, comes out to Hollywood, spends 50 years in show business. She does commercials, radio work, television, and she did some Broadway back in New York. It's just beautiful inside here. White marble. Just breathtaking. Beautiful. Looks like the tail end of a funeral service here at Rose Hills. We're walking up on the grave, the final resting place of Lupe Ontiveros. She was an actress that appeared in the 1985 film The Goonies, and later in the 1991 film Dolly Dearest, which, by the way, is a pretty scary movie, I think anyway.
Camilla, I am terribly sorry. She's never had outbursts like this before.
It is the Sansia. She spoke the ancient language of the Sansia.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
I know of their language. I know of these people. Their spirits fly with the evil one. No.
She once estimated that she had played a maid 150 times, either on stage or television. She was chosen as a narrator for the documentary Made in America. She died of liver cancer here in Whittier, California at the age of 69.